Hello YouTube, Danester83 back in the new year 2020. Voice is a bit gruff. Basically, I've had that man flu that's going around all over Christmas. So it's one of them really. Voice isn't great anyway, but it's a little bit more gruff. So I'll be taking a sip during this video. So please excuse me and bear with me. It's going to be mainly a pickup stuff I've been getting from the Bootsale. Not a lot for the collection. There is a few things, but mainly stuff to resell. Mainly going to be toys, if I'm honest, and a few board games, but there is some gaming stuff. So that's probably the way the channel's going to be moving forward as the year goes on, because obviously I did the toy fair at the NEC that was on the 27th of December. That went really well, so I'm looking to double my events this year that I do. As well as gaming, I'll be doing toy events. So if toys aren't your thing, you might want to unsub, but please don't, because there will be gaming. Gaming's still my main hobby and my collection. There is a few toys in it, but mainly the toys are just for reselling. So they're also in this video. I'll discussing some upcoming events that I'm going to be doing. I want to give a couple of shout outs to a couple of channels that I've recently discovered, for you to go along and have a look. And obviously I'll do my best with my voice keep breaking up. You may notice there's a mic here now. I've had this ages. I've just decided with a recent addition to the setup for the channel that I'm going to start using the mic, so hopefully that's better. As I say, I've had it ages, I've just not used it. There has been a couple of things added to improve the channel, so well, I say improve it, make the quality of the videos better. It's not going to make the content any better. It's still going to be me sat here talking. So that'll be something I discuss as the video goes on. Hopefully there'll be a little bit more editing. I am going to try and keep it as free flowing as possible, but I'll probably be doing a few jump cuts between sections. So like I'll do a section of pickups, then I'll do the shout outs, then I'll do the events, or whatever order I decide to do it in. But that's the way the format goes. So where shall I start? I did do a boot sale, some pickups just before Christmas. I didn't get a lot, it wasn't the best. I saw Lewis Wish Wash there once again, but it was a bit scarcer than the one I did, the previous video that I did just before Christmas. It was the week after that, and there weren't as many sellers, so I didn't get a fat lot. A few gaming items and a couple non. So rather than me waffle, I'm going to have a sip of this and I'll move on. So the first thing I picked up wasn't gaming related. I'm going to be stretching off camera a lot because there's a pile of stuff over here that I've got to get through. I just saw it on a table. It's Dungeons and Dragons, like it's the Dungeon Master deck. Obviously it's full of scenarios and stuff like that. I did look up the date on it. Where is it? 1994, so it has got a bit of vintage to it. Obviously not the 80s stuff, but this will be something that I'll probably either put on at a toy fair or at a gaming event to sell on, because I don't have a lot of interest, well, any interest in Dungeons and Dragons, but I thought it was a unique piece. I've never seen one before. I've seen the board games, but never the actual scenario decks. Next up, adding on to the non-gaming stuff really, there is more of these, but I always pick up bundles of Magic the Gathering cards. I really need to look into what's worth stuff. Same with Yu-Gi-Oh really. I don't really know. Like Pokemon cards I kind of understand. I want to say algorithm to work out whether they're worth anything, but I don't kind of have the understanding of Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic the Gathering yet. So if anyone knows a bit about Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Magic the Gathering cards, it'd be great if you could comment in the comment section. In fact, everyone comment in the comment section. I enjoy having a bit of a chat there. So then there was 3 gaming items that I did pick up. Lewis pointed the one out, the other 2 I found myself. This one is just on table. It's Pokemon Fire Red. Shit me. That's the first swear word of 2020. Yeah, genuine card. I think I paid a £5. I want to say it's 13-15 quid trading at CX, but I'll probably sell it at an event coming up. Lewis spotted this. Well, he spotted a box of PS1 games, and I think I paid £1 for sticker covered Resident Evil 2. All the stuff's in there. I don't even remember if I showed these in the last video. I might have done. If I have, I'm treating you to them twice. All complete. So again, if the manual and discs are in better condition than mine, I'll swap them out and resell this one at an event. And the last thing I actually had this as a kid, and I forgot all about it till I saw it on a table. And it's an enamel Mario badge from, I want to say 1992 it says. I thought it was about 93, so I weren't far off. I actually had this exact badge. I can't remember what set it was with. But I might keep that. It's in nice condition. None of the enamel's chipped off or anything. So I'm hoping this mic's picking me up clear, because I'm looking down at the volume thing down the bottom and it's not moving very much. So who knows? I might be fucking shooting this. Second swear word of the year. So that was the boot sale before Christmas. So it was a little bit quiet. First week of 2020, there was a couple of boot sales on in and around me. Liam was excited to go. I'll be honest, I was umming and ahhing, but I'm glad I went, especially the Saturday boot sale. I picked up loads of stuff. I'll go through it now. Let me just have another sip. What did I pick up first? I'm not going to do it in order of what I picked up first, because I can't get to that. It's at the bottom of the pile, so I'll just go through what I picked up. Something non-gaming first, but very nostalgic from the late 90s, early 90s. Is a mini disc player, sharp mini disc player. Comes with a charger and a load of mini discs in there. Celine Dion, if anyone fancies a Celine Dion mini disc, I've got one here. Bear George Michael, the Queen one I'll be keeping. It seems to be working when I plug the charger in. I think the rechargeable battery's gone on it, so I'm hoping I can source one of these on the old eBay. Looking at this exact model, I paid £5 for this. As I say, nice condition. This exact model, one very much similar, the exact same model, similar sort of condition, sold for about £70 on eBay. So, you know, they're worth picking up, especially I'm looking into selling stuff to keep the funds for the games collection going. So the more I build my knowledge on stuff, the more stuff I'll pick up. This was off a geezer who I called the £5 geezer in the end of the day, because everything I picked up from him was £5, no matter what it was, including the next lot of items. I'm not going to go through everything that's in that, but there was this basket here, Star Wars figures. A lot of them are the modern ones, but he wanted £5 for the box. Like, you know, you got Darth Vader, another variant of Darth Vader here, tons of stormtroopers. I'm not going to go through them all. There was one vintage figure. I'll see if I can find it. Is that I want to say a sand trooper or something like that, but that is a genuine 1980s one. So £5. There's 39 figures in here. It works out at 12p a figure. Now, when I was Kylo Ren, I mean, when I was selling these at the NEC, they were flying out this year, in December. The Star Wars figures, least I sell, one for is like £3, so there's plenty of profit in there. Again, all stuff that once it's sold, it allows me to buy stuff for the games collection, so that's what I'm using the toys for. As I say, there's nothing spectacular in here, but you know, for the vast quantity, I wasn't going to leave it for £5. There's a TIE fighter there, so yeah, £5 again off the £5 guy, who I think I spent 20 quid with him in the end, with the bundles of stuff I kept buying off him. Next bundle is gaming related. Paid £10 for this lot. I wasn't going to go through every single game, but being as we are kind of a gaming channel, and this is one of the main gaming bundles, I'll go through it. £10 for the lot for these games. There's a couple of nice titles, rest are not spectacular, but they're all for the Commodore 64. So you've got Time Traveller, Jesus, World Games, which is that like a bucking bronco on the front or something? Classic School Days, Mike Reed's Pop Quiz, Roadrunner, I think this is a different game to the one that's on the Atari. I remember playing the one on the Atari. This one looks slightly different. Wile E. Coyote is actually one of my favourite cartoon characters. I don't know why, I always like Wile E. Coyote. Gangster. Again, these will probably all be for sale at the upcoming event, so if there's anything you want me to put aside for you, just let me know. I can safely say, and I'm pretty confident, this game has probably never been loaded in its life, so it's like brand new. Typing Tutor. Pit Stop 2. In fact, I was wondering, how do you say that? I say that as Kicks. And I'm wondering whether these are going to start coming collectible like the Hit Squads, because they're a similar budget sort of title. But I'd say that as Kicks. Blaze Out, which is a compilation, pardon me, of games. I think it's the wrong game in here, actually. It's the only one that's the wrong game. It's actually Batman Cape Crusader by the looks of it. But for what I paid, I wasn't going to check every individual game, which I know is a bit of a schoolboy, but Kickstarter 2, I remember playing this loads. I think it was on the Amstrad back in the day. Another game that may well not have been ever loaded. Shoot 'em Up Construction Kit. One of the Zap cover tapes. And a few big boxes now, or bigger boxes should I say. Another classic game that I used to have myself on the Amstrad. WrestleMania. I'm sure you could play as the Bulldog, Hulk Hogan, and was it the Ultimate Warrior? I think them were the only three you could play as, and you had to battle your way up to fight Sergeant Slaughter. I think the Warlord was on there as well. I think it's probably the only game the Warlord was on. Another ocean game here for Mr. Bads. I know he likes his ocean stuff. That's Darkman. Classic Collection. I'll turn that the right way, and then he turns it upside down. There's a fair few titles on there. Pajama Armor's one I can recognise. Thank you for that virus notification. Not virus, like virus update. Leaderboard. Fuck me. And the last game. Rim Runner. Make the jokes as you wish, but yeah, Rim Runner. Actually doesn't look a bad game if you look on the back. Try and get it. Looks quite... Even on the Amstrad it looks pretty good. The Commodore 64 and the Atari ST. Never actually seen this game, but yeah, I paid £10 for that bundle, so if there's anything anyone's after, let me know. I'm sure we can do a deal. That wasn't off the £5 guy, by the way. That was someone else. Right, next thing, I'm probably going to put this on Spock, so I'll probably move it easier on there, but it is complete. Paid £5 for this Fortnite Monopoly. As you know, it doesn't even look like a game of Monopoly. I don't understand how it works, if I'm honest. But Fortnite's a hot seller. I play Fortnite. I'm not even going to deny it. I play Fortnite. I enjoy it. So yeah, I'll probably sell that. I paid £5 for it complete. I'll probably get about 15 for it. So it was a little buy. Now back to the old £5 geezer. So I bought these 3 board games all complete off him for £5 for the 3. So we got Treasure Hunt the game. All complete. I'm not opening it up because there's an absolute ton of cards in here. I don't know how good a game it is, but obviously it's based on the TV series that Annika Rice... Was it Annika Rice that was in Treasure Hunt? Yeah, so I've looked that up. It goes for about anywhere between 15 20 quid. So again, for £1 whatever it works out to. Wasn't a bad pickup. Another vintage one complete is Risk. I used to play Risk, not this version, the version where you actually had the soldiers and the cannons. This is more of a vintage version. Again, this one's about £20, £25. All complete, really good condition for their age as well. Just have a look, see if you can see the age of this one. Nope. But I know it's all complete. It's probably about 70s, that one. And this one, I believe, is from the 60s. Again, all complete. Original mousetrap. This one, if you can get complete, it's more a 25 to 30 pound game. All the pieces are in there, the marble, the mice. Pardon me. So, yeah, that's good condition. Again, I sold an absolute ton of board games at the toy fair, which shocked me. Because I wasn't going to take them, but I suppose around Christmas time, people do play board games, so that probably went into my favour. So that's the third thing I got off Mr. £5. I picked this little bundle up for £2 off another guy. In fact, I bought two things off this guy. They're just books, like vintage Ladybird books. Hannibal on Holiday. I'd never heard of Hannibal, but my missus remembers this. The ones I was more interested in was Puddle Lane. I remember Puddle Lane when I was a kid. In fact, this book is massively familiar to me. They're just going to go on my store at the toy fair, because I'm assuming there's probably people who collect the full sets of these, much like we collect games. And the other ones are just Disney. You got Tigger, Tarzan, Bambi. In fact, that Bambi one's vintage from the 80s, the others are more 90s. And then just two other Ladybird books that'll go on my store. £2 for the bundle. If I sell them for £2 each, £1 each, they're worth picking up, because, as I say, they might have an interest to someone. And more so for myself, I had the nostalgia of the Puddle Lane ones from when I was a kid. And the other items I bought off him was this binder of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Now, Blue-Eyed White Dragon is the only card that I'm pretty familiar with, and that was the one in the front, and there's a few others. But I think I paid £1.50 for that, so that's worth picking up. If anything, for the nice display folder, because I can put some Pokemon cards in there, and it'll look good. I like the idea of that display card there, sort of thing, because there seems to be a lot of people interested in them, but I need to learn the valuation of them, because I could be selling some rare card for next to nothing at some event. But then again, he owes me nothing. So the final thing that I got off Mr. £5, and this is going to make, if Ant Harper's back on the YouTubes, if I hope he is, make him laugh, because he knows my not hatred, but I asked my sister for this one Christmas or birthday back when I was younger, and it's got to be the most disappointing gaming thing I ever received, and it is the Barcode Battler. Now, don't get me wrong, I get this out and I think it still looks an attractive console. I mean, it's all bagged up and everything. But what an absolute load of junk this was. I mean, I was probably a little bit too young to have it at the time. I probably didn't really understand it. I probably thought it was more like a Game Boy than what it actually was. But, you know, you swipe your card across it and it creates the characters you fight. And all I remember is the bad guys were massively overpowered to the good guys. And the only barcode that I could find to work back in the day was the barcode off the box. I mean, look, this owner here has tried to get some barcodes to get extra power-ups. The whole idea was you could create your own. Each barcode that you took off someone either created a character or created some sort of power-up. But there were very few that worked. But as I got this off Mr. Fiver, I guess how much it cost me? That's right, £2. No, it was a fiver. But it's got all the cards and everything. I don't know whether to keep it as a bit of nostalgia to remind me of what a bag of shit it was, or whether to sell it. But I might just keep it. But I know Ant Harper's laughing here because he kept trying to get me to buy his off him for £10, which £10 extortionate. I mean, it's probably not worth a bloody fiver. But I just remember it being so disappointing. I actually thought it was going to be really good. I mean, it looks like it should be really good. And I imagine it's like some sort of, like, I suppose, battle. A bit like the battles on Final Fantasy and RPGs. But it was just massively underwhelming for me. What year was it? 92. So I'd have been about 9 years old, 8, 9 years old, so I probably was a little bit too young to understand it. But I was just hoping that it was going to be a little bit like a Game Boy, and it wasn't. So, again, disappointing, but £5, so it's got to be worth a fiver. What else I picked up a couple of cuddly toys, £2 each. Ewok from Disney. Got the Disney branding on the bottom. Actually sells for about $19.99 on eBay. It's really nice condition. It's quite soft actually. It reminds me of the feel of one of my cats. It's quite very soft, so picked that up. And I picked up Tails for £2. He's missing his tag, but he's in very nice condition. I mean, considering this was from one of the house clearances where everything's normally really grotty, to be fair. This is where I got the Fortnite Monopoly from, but they were £2 each, so nice condition. I don't know whether to keep Tails or I might sell him on, but the Ewok's definitely going because I don't want him. So if anyone wants him, talk to me. Final thing was, again, I think I paid a couple of quid. Come with a load of the spools. I think there's an ET one, which might be the only one of any value. But it's a Viewmaster, you know. Put the card in, pull the thing. See, I've got a load of these. I don't pay a lot for them. Again, there's something to just put on the toy store for people to flick through. Because I know I think there's a couple of royal family ones in here from when Charles was with Diana and stuff like that. And there's a few films like Heidi and stuff like that. They're the more collectible ones. And then there's some of Let's Go on Holiday to Devon, which are less collectible. But worth picking up for what I paid. And again, it's just stuff to put on my stall for people to come and have a flick through. While people are flicking through stuff, they're looking at your stall. So that was the Saturday boot sale, which was, to be honest, I went not expecting to get a lot, with it being just before Christmas, and in the end it was really good. So after that great result on a Saturday, me and Liam convinced ourselves, you know what, let's go to the one on a Sunday. Now the one on the Sunday wasn't as good. I did get some stuff. Didn't get my car stuck like everyone else, because for some reason the field on the Saturday was really good, but the field on the Sunday was awful. And we hadn't had no rain overnight. It just must be a crap field for drainage. And some people, there was someone in an Astra who'd obviously just been tazzing, and they were fucking that far stuck in the mud. I went in my Fiat Doblo, which I'm using currently, to the one I use for events. I'm using to go to the booters, and we didn't get stuck at all. I did speak to a guy who I know from the booters saying which way's the best to go off, and we like kind of followed each other. And luckily, no one got stuck in front of us, so we didn't get stuck. But I digress. It was alright. I did pick... In fact, I'll show you the thing that I picked up that's nothing to do with gaming or nostalgia, but it is massively important to me as a seller. So there was a stall that looked like it was selling parcels that hadn't been delivered. So they must buy it by the pallet load and sell it on. And I saw this box. It's just a sum up box really, which I know is a card reader, and my old PayPal card reader broke, so I hadn't got no way of taking card payments at any events, and I was looking to get a sum up one, and I saw this on the table, picked it up, but it was all sealed, and the guy said £3, and I was like, that's cheap. And then when I got it out, it's the top end model, which is currently it's worth 70 quid, because they've knocked 20 quid off for this month as a special sale, but they're usually £100. So this allows me to take card payment, chip and pin, contactless up to 30 quid, or swipe it now at events, and I don't need to hook it up to my phone either, with it being the top end model. So for £3, that will pay for itself at upcoming events, because I missed out on a couple of sales at events, because I'm a little bit lazy sometimes. I couldn't be bothered doing PayPal for like a £5, whereas with that, it's just like, yeah, give me I can be asked, with the PayPal, I can be asked even putting in my flipping email address just for £5, whereas with that, I've just got to let them tap it, and it's an extra sale for me. So that's a good thing, £3. So this is why it's worth going to the booters, because you can be amazed with what you find. So as I say, this is the Sunday boot sale. Not as much stuff, but some nice stuff. What did I get? I think I got this first. There's a little bit of a story behind this. It's a VHS. I'm picking up two VHS players later today for free off Facebook Marketplace. I want one so I can watch the VHSs myself, and I need another one. So, because my dad gave me his old VHS collection, and my dad used to buy the shittest of shit movies back in the 80s. But, as anyone who collects VHS knows, a lot of them films didn't get moved to DVD, so they're almost like a lost media, if you know what I mean. But some of them have gone mouldy, so I need a second VHS player to remove the lid. And then what you do is you use the isopropyl alcohol that I use to clean cartridges to clean the mould from the tapes. Now, depending on how far gone they've gone, depends whether I can rescue them or not. But I didn't want to buy a good VHS player to trash it cleaning tapes, so that's a little experiment that I'm going to be doing out in the shed. Get a mask on because I don't want to breathe in 1980s mould. And seeing if I can rescue some of Dad's old VHS movies and have a watch. So, that said, this one hasn't got any mould. And as you'll notice, it's an ex-rental. It's called The Park Is Mine. I imagine it's a great movie. But I am surprised because Tommy Lee Jones is in it. That's obviously meant to be Tommy Lee Jones. It's about a Vietnam vet. I know this will interest Craig Minks because he's big into his VHS. So I might watch this before I move it on. But when I picked it up, it was lying on the floor on a bloody tarpaulin in the grass. And the guy had no care about it until I picked it up and went, "Oh mate, how much for this movie?" At which he took it out of my hand and was like this, examining it. You know, he goes, "Oh, some of these old movies are worth a lot." He goes, "Give me a couple of quid." I was like, "Mate, I'll give you £1." He went, "Yeah, okay." And that's what annoys me sometimes with the Bootsale. People give zero shit about their stock or have any value for it until the moment I pick it up and have some interest in it. And I'm like, do you want to sell it, or do you think it's worth gold? I mean, this film's probably worth next to jack shit. It's more the fact that it's kind of cheesy and I might watch it, that I've picked it up. But, you know, if you're going to take it to the booter and chuck it on the floor, it's got no value to it, so just sell it me cheap, because I ain't paying more than that. So, yeah, The Park Is Mine, starring Tommy Lee Jones on VHS. So, hopefully later today I'll be able to hook that up and watch a classic movie. It's not on Netflix, so you can't watch it anywhere else, I wouldn't have thought. So at that was my first pickup. I saw this lying on another table. I was actually hoping it was the Pro Controller, but it's not. It's one you need to plug in with wires. It's obviously a Switch controller, Splatoon 2. Buttons are all nice on it. I said to the woman, "How much?" She said £10. Because she explained that her son had broke his Switch and had got a Switch Lite, so I assume these must now, the wired ones, no use because you've not got your dock to plug them in or anything. So she was getting rid of his accessories, so she said £10 for that. She had the dock lying on the table, which she said £2 for, which I was thinking the dock's probably worth more than the controller, but it does work. I've plugged it in, so I'm going to set it up downstairs so I can move my Switch from upstairs to downstairs. That's £2. And she had 4 of these like nunchuck things that she said 50p each. And I just said to her, I said, "Will you take 12 quid for the lot?" And she said yes. So there's another one of these. There. So I got them, the controller and the dock for 12 quid. If I get a power supply and a USB HDMI, I could sell that to CX for 46 trading, which is really surprising. But as I say, I'm going to use it to move to a second docking station downstairs so I can move my Switch in between rooms. Then there was a guy selling tons of boxed Star Wars figures, but he wanted too much on them, but he got 3 vintage loose ones. So there was R2-D2, which surprisingly has his little antenna thing that comes up, they normally break off. £3 each, but these vintage ones I can usually get between 5 and 8 quid for. The Emperor with his stick, I'll probably be looking 12 to 15 for him because he's complete. and a little Ewok, £9 for the 3. As I say, he got, I think they were the Power of the Force ones and the Episode 1 figures, and he just wanted a £5 each, and he'd come down to £4 each if I bought the lot, but it was still too expensive for me. Mainly because he ain't got many of the high-end characters who are easier to shift. If he'd got a few of them, I'd have probably shifted them on. And the other thing I picked up purely for parts, just in case I ever need them, it was the VHS bloody guy. Got it on the table. No one had been interested in it, obviously, because he'd been there all day. And I said, how much for this? Another mousetrap. It's a bit more battered, but I picked it up because it's got the vintage parts. So if ever I pick one up where something's broke, I can swap it out. He said a £5. I was like, mate, I picked one up yesterday in better condition than this. They're a lot less. I said, I'll give you 2. And he was like, yeah, okay then. So, I mean, the box is battered. But as I say, it's the parts inside that are more valuable to me. So, that was the last thing I picked up from the boot sale. From the boot sale, me and Liam, after I'd done the NEC toy fair in Birmingham, I got speaking to a guy, and he told me there was a toy fair that had been running for 29 years, which I didn't even know about, in Warsaw Wood, that was on the Sunday. So I thought, I'll go and scope it out. I'll go and have a look as a buyer to see what it's like to sell there. And to be fair, it surprisingly shocked me how busy it was. And I did pick up a bundle of Star Wars figures, boxed ones. Now these are Power of the Force, but they're easier sellable characters. I think I paid £18 for the 4. But you've got Han Solo, 2 different variants of Han Solo. Again, the Emperor. And finally Darth Vader. These are easier to sell figures because they're the main characters. They're easier to sell on. So they'll be going on my store for my next toy fair. And with that, that's everything from the boot sale really. I'll be going out again to the boot sales this weekend. And hopefully picking up some more stuff. I want to try and keep the videos regular this year because I've added some more equipment. In fact, I'll cover that now before I move on to talking about the events or shout-outs, whichever I decide to do next. Obviously, I've got my mic here. I've had the mic for a while. It's this is my spare one. In fact, if anyone's interested in one of these for their channels, it's a Snowball. I've got the black model, which is the slightly higher end model with the switches. But I bought this because it had a stand with it and it was cheaper to buy this second hand with the stand than it was to just get the stand. So I picked that up. So I've got this one spare if anyone's interested. Just drop me a message and I'm sure I can sort something out for you. So, because it's no use to me, I don't need to. I did a little bit of e-begging, not to anyone on my channel, more my missus, saying, what do you want for Christmas? And I said, well, I want something for my YouTube channel. And Amazon had got this camera on offer. It's what I'm using now. It's a Pro HD webcam C920. I saw a couple of YouTubers mention it on Twitter, saying it was on offer at Amazon. I think it was £30. And it works really well. So if you're interested, if it's still £30, it's a very good camera. I'm pleased with it anyway. So we've had, the mic's been here ages. We've now got a better camera. And with the money that I made from the toy fair, I went and bought, I've been looking at second-hand MacBook Pros, and I went and bought myself a MacBook Pro with an i7 processor, 16 gig of RAM, and it's got an SSD, and it's going to be so much easier for editing, so hopefully I can edit my videos better. It's the 2011 model, and you might think, oh god, that's like a 9-year-old model, but it's one of the last models where Apple made it where you could upgrade it yourself. And what I was going to do is buy a cheaper one and then upgrade it myself, but this one's already done up to the top spec, and it's absolutely rapid to navigate and do stuff on. It's already got Final Cut Pro installed on it, so Final Cut Pro on its own now is like 200 quid. So for what I paid for the MacBook Pro and everything, you know, I used my own money that I earned at an event to try and make this channel a little bit better, a little bit more watchable, a little bit more easy to navigate. So hopefully, I ain't guaranteeing nothing. The quality of the videos in 2020 might be better. It's not a 4K face, 1080p I believe the camera is, but that's good enough. You don't need to see the bags under my eyes or the wrinkles. Just my face will do, I suppose. So that being said, there might be a little bit of editing now. I might be moving along to the next bit of the video, which will either be a shout out or I'll be talking about the events upcoming. So moving on. Right, the good thing about this new editing thing is when I've forgot something, like I've forgot 2 items now, I can add them in before I move on to the next section. The same store that I got that summed up thing from, I bought this. I think this was a couple of quid. It's got the code in that's not been scratched, so hopefully I'll be able to sell that on Pokemon Gold version, because I don't play Pokemon. And the worst thing that I forgot is a Christmas present that my missus got me, and she does occasionally watch these videos, so if I hadn't mentioned it, she'd have had me balls on her for. She got me this Nintendo Labo robot. Now, I think she must have had me mistake for someone else, because I've looked at this and it looks such a ball ache to set up. So it'll probably stay in this box still, because I've looked at it and it looks harder than a day's work. But it's a nice little item. As I say, I'll probably keep it sealed and set up, because I haven't really got... Looking at it, you need quite a bit of space to be doing it, and that's one thing I've not got in this game's room, is a lot of space. So them are 2 items I forgot. So moving on, I am going to do some shout outs to a couple of channels that I've recently come across. First one is called Planet Retro, and it's run by the channel's run by a guy who's I recognise from the gaming events and also on Facebook. He calls himself Big Game Al. I want to make sure I say that right, because it sounds like the guy from South Park if I say it wrong. Yeah, Big Game Al. It's called Planet Retro. He does a lot of pickup videos currently with his mate, and he's only 9 games off a full Mega Drive set. So what I'll do is I'll put a link to his channel. He's, as I say, he's only new in the last few months, so he's just like most of us here who do pickups videos and collection videos. He's got a nice collection, so if people could pop over and give him a little bit of support, watch his channel, because we all started out somewhere, and it's nice to get in touch with fellow people who like to collect like ourselves. And as I say, he's a big collector. I've seen him at the events for years buying stuff, so it's great that he's put himself out there and gone on YouTube. Again, Planet Retro. And the other one is quite a popular channel now. I remember Stu mentioning this channel ages ago, and I'll be honest, up until just before Christmas, I was a bit out of touch with watching and subscribing with YouTube, but I'm catching myself up. And it's Dad and Lads Gaming. Obviously, it's a dad and his son, who both have massive interest in gaming, and they've got an excellent collection. And they sit there on the set here, obviously doing pickup videos like ourselves, and they're really refreshing to watch. It's a very good channel, good up and coming channel. So if you don't already sub, which you probably do, head on over there and have a watch, because they've got some really nice stuff, modern and retro. So that's Dads and Lads Gaming. So 2 great channels there. I'd like to, if I can, start doing this more regular, because I think people have stopped doing shout out videos, which is a bit of a shame, because I remember when I first started, I relied on people mentioning my channel. So the more we can do that, if we can help the community grow. Because as Daz said, Conus Deloro, the tubes is quiet at the moment. I've not seen Cyber Snake 7 on here for a while, and I've not seen Stu Tootie. So get your fingers out, because if not, all the bigger YouTubers will just be having all the subs and the views. I like seeing some talking heads talking about what they've picked up, talking about their collection. So let's make sure that side of the tubes doesn't die. So Stu, do yourself a video. So that's my shout out section. So now there might be a little bit more editing, and I'll talk about the events, because I've written it down somewhere, and I'll be honest with you, I can't find where I've put it. So I'm going to go and have a look, and I'll be back in a sec. Right, so on to the events. I've just dealt myself a massive blow, because I've only just, although I've written the dates down here, it's only just registered with me. So, right, we'll start off with the first event. I've got 2 events in February and 2 events in March. Not that you're probably interested, I'm just telling you. There's 1 toy fair, 2 gaming fairs. So, first one is the Milton Keynes Gaming Market. I mean, look at this professionalism now. We've got scripts. We've got the Milton Keynes Gaming Market. That's on Saturday, the 8th of February. I probably should have written the venues down, but if you search these on Facebook, they're really easy to find. So that's the Milton Keynes Gaming Market. That's on the 8th of February on the Saturday. I'll be there selling my gaming wares. And this is where I've dealt myself a massive blow, because on February the 9th, I'm now going to be at the NEC selling toys. So I've got to get back on the 8th, unload all the gaming stuff and load up all the toy stuff. That will be fun. What I might do actually is I might start doing a little bit of a log of what it's like to be a seller at these events, what's involved, and I'll do a little bit of video if people are interested in that, because you know it is a good way of getting to know and getting into people, and also funding your collection. I mean, I wouldn't be able to have all this stuff behind me if I didn't do a little bit of wheeler dealing, and I think we're all like that. You know, there's very little of my actual income that I spend on this. It's all about flipping stuff. So again, that's Milton Keynes on the 8th of Feb, and the NEC Toy Fair is on the 9th of Feb. Moving on into March, and that's Sunday the 1st of March. The video games market at Doncaster Dome, that's the biggest one in the UK, I believe. If you've ever not been to a gaming market and you want to try one, try the Doncaster Dome. It's brilliant. It's a couple of hours drive from me in the Midlands, obviously, depending where you are in the country. But what I will say about all the gaming events and the toy events I seem to get to, they're really easy to get to, either by train, obviously if you live close enough, by bus, or if you drive. I mean, literally, usually I do a bit of bombing up the motorway. No, I don't. I drive at the speed limit, driving up the motorway, and they're literally like a couple of miles off a junction. So as a seller, they're really easy to navigate. And then after that, in Wednesbury, we've got Revival Mini Part 1, and that's the 7th and 8th of March. Again, if I can find some posters of these events, I'll stick them up somewhere once I've worked out how to use my editing software. So again, in March, that's the 1st of March, is the Doncaster Dome, the video games market, run by Replay Events, same as the Milton Keynes market. And then Revival Mini, which is obviously run by Revival Events, that's on the 7th and 8th of March in Wednesbury. So those are the events I've got booked into at the moment. I'll keep you updated. Again, this is going to be part of the stuff I'm going to be hopefully adding to the channel, trying to keep up with telling you guys what's going on. Obviously, I'm only advertising the events that I go to. If any of you know any more, please feel free to put in the comments below. But hopefully to see you all at one of these events. Come and buy my stuff so I can buy more games. Come and say hello, come and have a chat. So that'll be everything for this video, I think. You'll be glad to hear. So as always, like, comment and subscribe. Subscribe if you want. My channel's pretty boring. I just do pickups. But as I say, hopefully this year I'm going to do a little bit more footage of the events for you. Always comment, I always get back. I enjoy the social side of YouTube. And I'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra for now.